So whenever you're ready, come to a comfortable seat, just on your knees or cross-legged, and we will close down the eyes. Hands just rest on the lap. So we have half an hour today, so it's a short and sweet session. And we'll just warm up the body. Some of you might have been sitting down most of the morning, so we'll try and bring some mobility into all of the body, all of the muscles, and sync up with the breath. So on that note, we will take a couple of longer inhales and exhales. So inhaling deep into the belly, filling the rib cage, top of the lungs, and then exhaling, starting with the top of the lungs, emptying the rib cage, and finally the belly. And seeing if you can just keep that length and deep breath, that length and deep breath going. Nice. So hopefully, yeah, just open your eyes whenever you want. Hopefully this will just bring a bit of energy to your day and get you excited for the weekend. We'll just work on opening through the body, opening through the chest, through the hips and the hamstrings. Oh, Lars has sorted out the microphone, it looks like. And on that note, we'll interlace the fingers in front of us and then bring them up overhead, getting a deep stretch through the side body here. Again, if you're just sat cross-legged, then just do exactly the same thing. And then we'll drop the left hand down to the outside of the right knee and come to a twist, looking back over the right shoulder. Nice, inhaling back to center, interlacing the other finger on top this time. Pressing up into the air above you, thumbs trying to face up to the sky, and then exhaling, bringing the right hand to the outside of the left knee, twisting here. Opening up through the collarbones, bringing that deep breath again, starting with the belly breathing, and filling all the way up to the collarbones. Looking as far back as you can, and if you want to bring an extra dimension to this, you can see if you can look as far back as you can. Nice, bringing it back again, and we will just come to, I'll just face this way now. So for all of you now, coming up onto your knees, and we're going to tuck the toes under here. And to start off, we're just going to bring our hands here, our fingers, just underneath the armpits. And we're going to come into a camel pose, so opening up through the chest. So this isn't so much as like some of you might know camel pose already, but we're going to focus on trying to lift as much as possible, as if we're going up and over a wheel or a tire here, as opposed to dumping back. So making sure your knees are tracking forward, hands onto the armpits, fingertips under the armpits. And on an inhale, pressing down into the knees and into the toes, and then lifting a little bit more, seeing if you can, as if someone was pulling you up from the chest here, lifting up, and then we'll come back to stable position again. And from here, one more time, coming all the way up here, and if you can, look back, and then we'll bring one hand back if you can to the heels, reaching back with the heel to the heel, and the other. And again, really trying to get as much lift as you can in the chest here. And if that feels okay, then bringing your neck back as well. Opening up through the whole front body here. Cool, coming out of it, exhale. Coming back onto the knees. And we'll just shimmy the knees back now and come into a puppy pose. So hips directly above the knees. We're just on our fingertips here, and we're just going to melt the heart down to the mat. So knees are directly under the hips distance so wide. You can stay up on your fingertips here or come all the way down onto the palms of your hands. And rest the chin or the forehead onto the mat. Again, opening up here through the shoulders, the chest. And on an exhale, looking up in between the hands and coming all the way back to all fours. Cool, so we're in all fours now, and I'm sure you could guess what's coming. We're going to take some cat-cows to start off. So shoulders directly over the wrists here, spreading the weight through the fingers as much as possible. Knees are directly under the hips distance, and on an inhale, we'll drop the belly, looking up to the sky, exhaling, rounding. So taking this in your own time here. I'll let you have a few rounds on your own. Syncing up the breath here. So on an inhale, dropping the belly, and on an exhale, rounding through the spine. Nice, and then feel free to veer off here as well. Maybe bump the hips over to the left, bump them over to the right. Taking any movement that feels good, maybe a couple of circles with the hips, figure eights. Cool. And then coming back to a stable centered tabletop position here, pressing down into the fingertips, bringing a little bit more weight into the thumb and forefinger area of the hand, and then curling the toes under, and we'll lift the hips just for a moment. And bring the hips all the way up to the sky, coming into downward dog. Taking a deep breath in downward dog here, inhaling everything in through the nose, opening the mouth, exhaling everything out, sighing it out. Again, one more time, inhaling through the nose, exhaling, sighing everything out. Amazing. Maybe shaking the head, maybe nodding it yes, shaking it no. So feet at hips distance here, hands or shoulders width, hugging in through the lower belly and the ribs. And from here, looking up in between the hands, we're just going to come forward into plank pose. So coming over, the shoulders are directly over the wrists, and then we'll take it back into down dog. So we'll do that just 2 more times. Inhaling, coming back to plank. Exhaling, back to down dog. Just warming up the shoulders here. Inhaling to plank. And the core. Exhaling, back to down dog. And we'll take 1 more. Inhaling to plank. Exhaling to down dog. Nice. Looking up in between the hands and just walking here to the top of the mat. 1 foot after the other, coming to feet come in between the palms, and we'll drop the head down, taking a forward fold here. Just let the head hang loose, bring the weight slightly over the balls towards the balls of the feet. Taking some deep breaths here, shaking the head out loose here. Just letting everything hang, and you can keep a slight bend in the knees if that feels nice for you, especially to open up through the lower back. If you've been sitting all day, that's great. Cool. And then inhaling, we'll roll all the way up to the top of the mat, coming into Tadasana. Here, just from here, we will shrug the shoulders up here to the ears. Inhaling, squeezing the shoulders up to the ears, and then exhaling, dropping them down. 1 more time. Inhaling, shoulders up to the ears, exhaling, drop them down. Cool. Wow, there's a lot of dogs barking over there. Inhaling, hands come up above the head. And we're just going to bring our palms together here and take a steeple grip. So just, or like a gun grip. It's a bit more violent, but anyway, steeple grip, and bump the hips over to the left. Taking a side bend here, looking up underneath the left shoulder. Bring it back to center, and we'll take it on the other side. Bumping the hips over to the right. Inhaling back to center, nice. Hands are above the head, and we'll just continue here. Our sun salutation, coming all the way down again to a forward fold position. Inhaling, coming into flat back, so your hands can rest on your shins or your thighs. And then planting the palms down, bringing 1 foot back and then the other. We'll meet in plank pose. You can drop your knees down here and take a cobra pose, or go straight from plank to chaturanga. So plank, chaturanga, hugging the elbows in to the chest, coming up into upward dog, And we'll all meet in downward dog. Cool. Taking a breath here, stretching out here, lengthening up through the side body. Hips reach up to the sky, and then inhaling, lifting the right foot all the way up to the sky. Three-legged dog. Hovering here for a moment, and then we'll hug the leg, the knee into the chest, and then pop it up in between the wrists. Cool. Dropping the back knee down here. We'll stay on the fingertips and just lengthening through the spine. And from here, we're going to take a couple of dynamic movements. So we will, it's movements that we know already. So we're going from low lunge. I'll do it once just so you can see. We'll go from low lunge, lifting the back knee first of all, going from low lunge to straight leg position here. So straightening out through the front leg, toes pointing up to the sky, and then we'll go back into a low lunge or a high lunge even, whatever you call it, with the lifted knee, or you can come down, bring the knee down. So I'll do that a few times, just syncing up with the breath, and we'll increase the breath rate just a little bit, just so that we can create a bit of heat. So inhaling, exhaling, straightening, inhaling, exhaling, straightening through the leg, inhaling, lunge, exhale, straightening. Staying on those fingertips, making sure that the knee doesn't go over the heel or the ankle here. Speeding it up slightly more, we'll stay here for another 5 times. Hopefully you've got the hang of it. So it's a bit different. Remembering to bring the breath, exhaling everything out. One more time, and then we'll come back to a regular lunge, drop the knee, plant the left hand down, and open up through the side body here, reaching the right fingertips all the way up to the sky, breathing into the belly, catching your breath. Hopefully you can feel a bit of movement, a bit of heat, maybe in the leg, in the right leg, in the back of the right glute here. Nice. And then we'll lift the back knee up again, come back into plank pose. You can lower your knees down again here, lower all the way down to cobra. Inhaling, coming up to cobra. And exhaling, coming back to downward dog. Nice. And if at any point you want to take a child's pose, then please feel free. We'll catch our breath here before lifting the left leg up to the sky, hugging the knee into the chest, and then exhaling, bringing the foot up in between the hands, dropping the back knee down to the mat. Inhaling, opening up through the chest, staying up on the fingertips, creating length through the spine and the crown of the head. And then you know what's coming here again. So lifting up through the back knee, staying on the fingertips here, and then exhaling, straightening out through that front leg. It doesn't really look like anything, to be honest, but it's just, I find it a really good one to kind of wake things up, especially when you bring the breath. So inhaling, here we go. Inhaling, exhaling, folding. Inhaling, looking up, exhale, fold. Taking them in your own time. The most important thing is really to just sync up the breath here with the movement. Three, two, one. Nice. Bringing it back here. So it's kind of like a ritualistic kind of movement here, and then opening up, planting down through the right hand, opening up through the left side body, twisting here from the upper body, left hand's looking up to the sky. Yeah, it's kind of like a ritualistic set of motions there, that dynamic movement that you do a lot of in traditional hatha yoga, but you don't really find as much in our Ashtanga or anything that we do these days in the West. So anyway, I just thought it was cool to do. Cool. From here, we'll come back, bring the left leg back, meeting plank pose, lower all the way down to cobra. And from here, we'll bring our hands just alongside the body, forehead comes down to the mat. Take a rest here, just let everything sink down into the mat. Feel the weight of the body make contact with the earth. And an inhale, we'll press the pelvis slightly down into the mat. Suck up, hug up through the belly. And on an inhale, we'll lift the hands and the toes up if you can, or just the hands. Neck is long here. Coming up into a Shalabhasana variation. Holding for one more breath and exhale, letting everything go again. Forehead drops down to the mat. Just opening up, turning all those back muscles on. You can make a little pillow here for your head with your hands and coming to lie on one cheek. Nice, I can feel my heart beating here. Bringing the hands just alongside the body again, curling the toes under, and we'll come back into a child's pose here. So knees come as wide as the chest. I'm just dropping the head down. Extended child's pose. Feeling the belly expand on every inhale. Feeling the contraction on every exhale. Nice. Inhaling, looking up in between the fingers, and we'll come back onto all fours. Tuck the toes, come back into downward dog, and then looking up in between the hands, just walking it forward to the top of the mat. Nice. Cool. So we're in a forward fold position here. Let the head hang loose, maybe keeping a slight bend in the knees. And on an inhale, we're going to lift the hands all the way up to the sky, above the head, taking a long, deep stretch here throughout the whole body, grounding through the heels and the feet, looking up in between the hands, and exhale, bringing the palms together at heart center. Hopefully it's not too windy and you can hear me okay. Cool. We'll take another sun salutation here. So inhaling, hands come up above the head. Exhaling, folding forward. Head comes down towards the knees. Inhaling, flat back position here. Hands come to thighs or shins. And then planting the hands, bringing one foot back and then the other, coming into a plank pose or low plank. Lowering to chaturanga or cobra, and then upward facing dog. Opening up in the upward facing dog, pushing down into the hands. Opening up through the chest. Knees are lifted. Exhaling, coming to down dog. Taking a breath here. Inhaling, lifting the right leg up to the sky again. Exhaling, bringing it up to the chest. And then planting it down in between the hands. We'll pivot on the back foot, opening up here through the foot, pressing into the outside edge of the foot and come up into a warrior two. So keeping a right angle with the front knee, making sure your knee's not coming too far forward. And yeah, if you do have any knee pain, then just feel free to not even go as deep into the pose. That might even be better for you. And then we'll open up through the hands. So warrior two, gazing over the right fingertips here. Inhaling deeply, filling the chest, and then exhaling, seeing if you can open up through the collarbones just a little more. Nice. Inhaling, we'll flip the palm, the front hand, and bring it as far forward as we can before bringing it all the way up and coming into a reverse warrior here. Taking a breath in the reverse warrior, and then we'll bring it all the way back down again, coming into a side angle pose. Side angle, so the right elbow comes to sit on the right knee, and the left hand just comes all the way up alongside the ear here, looking underneath the left armpit. Making one line of energy here from the fingertips all the way to the outside of the the back foot. Cool, coming all the way back up to a warrior two. We'll interlace the fingers behind us here. And inhaling, opening up through the chest. Exhaling, folding down. Shoulder comes towards the knee here. Head gazes down towards the mat. Coming into what we call a humble warrior. So it's kind of an image of surrendering here. You might feel your legs shake a little, having built some heat. It's probably good for us to wake up a bit. Inhaling and looking all the way back up again. And then we're just gonna keep that interlaced between the back here and straighten up through the right foot, right leg, sorry, and just come as if we were taking a triangle style pose, lengthening the whole torso over the right leg. So you can keep a slight micro bend in the front knee, and looking up over the left shoulder. And then coming all the way back up again, letting the hands go, and we'll come back, bring the palms down to the mat, bring the front leg back, either take a child's pose here or meet us back in down dog. And if you want a vinyasa, which is just the chaturanga, upward dog, or a cobra to down dog, then go for it if you're looking for a little bit more heat and energy. When you get to down dog, take a couple of longer breaths. See if you can slow down the breath here. Inhaling, lifting the left foot up to the sky. Exhaling, bringing it into the chest, and then planting it up in between the hands. We'll take it on the other side. So coming all the way up into a warrior two here. Opening up through the collarbones, through the chest. Spine is long, and then exhaling, flipping the palm and bring it all the way up overhead, coming into a reverse warrior. Seeing if you can bend the front knee just slightly, a little bit more. And then bring it back down again. We'll bring the left elbow to the left knee and come all the way up with the right hand above the head here. Side angle. Nice. Taking one breath here and then coming all the way back up into warrior two, interlacing the fingers behind the back, this time interlacing the other finger on top. Drawing the shoulder blades down along the spine, taking a deep inhale in, expanding through the chest and exhaling, coming forward over towards the left knee, bringing the shoulder towards the left knee, head drops down towards the mat. Legs are strong, rooting down into the foundations here, the feet. Bringing the breath. Nice, inhaling, bringing all the way back up again. And then straightening out through that front leg. And leaning the torso over that front leg. Keeping the hands interlaced and pushing back towards the back of the mat here. Deep breath here. Wind's really picking up. Inhaling, back up, and hands come back down to the mat. We're going to bring the right foot to meet the left at the top of the mat and just take a forward fold. And then from here, just dropping the hips down towards the heels, coming into a ball, and we'll come into a seated position. Come all the way down to the back, setting up for bridge pose. So hands are just alongside the body, and then tucking the hips slightly here, bringing the back of the back body here, the lower back to meet the mat. So taking that movement here, that's that pelvic tuck, and then lifting the hips all the way up to the sky. And you can interlace the fingers behind the back again here. Seeing if you can bring your chest up towards the chin and the chin all the way up to the sky. Nice. Exhaling, lowering back down again. Nice one. And then from here, bringing the right knee, over the left. We'll just shimmy, bump the hips over to the right, and then drop the knees over towards the left. Cactusing the arms out here. Gazing over the right shoulder. Letting the body melt into the mat. Bring it back up to center again. This time bringing the left knee up and across over the right, bumping the hips over to the left just before you drop the knees over to the right. And now gazing over the left shoulder. Nice. Bring it back up to center. We'll hug the knees into the chest here, making a little ball. And then grabbing a hold of the outsides of your feet, bringing the head back down to the mat. Bringing the knees wide here, as wide as the shoulders. Knees are bent. And just seeing if you can push down into the feet so that you can see if you can bring your knees towards your armpits. Breathing deep into the belly, creating one line of energy here throughout the spine. So all the way from the crown of the head down to the tailbone. So you can press the tailbone down into the mat. Have a little play here, maybe rocking from side to side, or staying as you are, or just straightening out through one leg and then the other. And even bringing here the feet together and grabbing a hold of the behind the legs, or just at the feet, and bringing the feet together and coming into kind of like a reverse forward fold here, opening up through the lower back. And bringing the hips back down to the mat. We'll bring the soles of the feet together on the mat here, and knees come as wide as the mat, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana pose. When you get into the pose, let your right hand just sit on the belly. The left hand comes to the heart space. And this will be our final pose for today. And from here, just think of 3 things that you're grateful for today. So something that someone did that was just really kind. Maybe bought you a cup of coffee or something. Grateful that it's the weekend. Grateful that you get to practice. Whatever it is, think of 3 things that you're grateful for. Closing down the eyes. And letting the whole body melt down into the mat. Relaxing the muscles, letting everything go. Connecting back to the breath here. Just watching the inhale and the exhale, maybe at the nose, the nostrils, the air coming in and out. And then paying attention now, bringing the awareness back to the space around you. So maybe tuning into any sounds that might be in the room or outside, reminding yourself of the space you're in, feeling the contact with the mat. And then from here, we'll come back to a seated position. So finding your way back up to a seated cross-legged position at the top of the mat. Keeping the eyes closed. Taking a deep breath in here, deepest breath you've taken all day. Exhaling, letting everything out through the mouth. And out. Nice. And bringing the hands to heart center, dropping the head down to the chest, batting the eyelids open. Namaste.